Hey. BigSquareRoadRunner.com. Give me a 5x5 if you can hear this. 5x5 if you can hear this. We're going to do some Q&A. I wanted to talk about silver. Lots to talk about in the gold world. Been diving into gold. It's easy to say, hey, there's a lot of gold on planet Earth because I've already found out where it is. But it's even stranger to think where that gold came from. And anyway, that's what I want to talk about today, the gold to silver ratio. And then cryptos, obviously with gold and silver being able to be mined throughout the world and throughout the galaxy, it brings to light the number one reason we use gold as money, and that is scarcity. Bitcoin blows away all metals in scarcity, but which Bitcoin should we use? I don't know. Anyway, that's the stuff we're going to get into today. Let's see who we got in here. Andrew McNulty, longtime roadster, absolutely. Scott Baldock. Did you read Clive Maud's article? I haven't. I've read his stuff before. I agree with some of it, and I disagree with some of it. So I send it to me, bix@roadrunner.com, and I'll check it out. Crypto Chris Card. What, dude? Don't you have a job? You're in every chat I'm in. It's awesome. That means you're interested, right? Let's see what we got here. Thank you guys for joining. If you have questions, I'll try to answer them, but it's always difficult. There's so many flying by. Of course, super chats get answered. Josh Lake, best Paige's boyfriend, by the way. Keep him. Why isn't he a moderator yet? How do I do that? Let's see if I can do that right now. I thought I made him a moderator. Josh Lake is now a moderator. There you go. So he's a moderator. Look out for him. Paige keeps him on the short and narrow. All right. Hey, let's get going. Robert Thomas from Nova Scotia. I've been to Nova Scotia, believe it or not. Back when I was in banking, we were financing a fishing... No, it was an offshore oil rig. And it was the middle of nowhere, top of the world. I was freezing my ass off, but it was so beautiful. It was crazy beautiful where I was. So I loved it. I thought it was great. But yeah, it was way up there at the top of the world. Okay. Dana W. I'm just jumping into questions now. Do you think there'll be a U.S. constitutional, or what do I think of the U.S. constitutional $1 equals 1 ounce of silver? It's actually, it's I think it's measured in the grains of silver within it. I mean, it's splitting hairs. No, I don't think silver will be used as money, like walking around change anymore. I think it's too valuable. They might use it as a store of value, but silver's just too valuable. There's just not enough of it, and it's needed in other places, and it's more valuable as a industrial metal. But let's just talk about real quickly what's going on in silver right now on the COMEX. It does seem like, and everything in there looks like the end of silver market manipulation, at least this version of it. The version of it that started in the early 1970s with Alan Greenspan rigging the price of all commodities with computer programs he wrote in the early 70s, late 60s with his friend John Kimony. That form of market manipulation has been going on since we went off the gold standard, probably since we went off the silver standard theoretically in the 1960s. So that does appear to be ending as the COMEX is the big naked shorts, the banks that were controlling the prices seem to be closing, either delivering on their shorts or closing their shorts and taking losses. Ted Butler believes that the banking cabal was told to cease and desist by the DOJ after they had 6 JP Morgan traders on RICO charges for rigging the gold and silver markets. So, yeah, I think it's a good thing, and it does look like they'll be able to get out of their silver short position. I don't know if fully out. Some of it's hedged. They're using the SLV deposits as hedges, which is bullshit. But it's better than it was completely naked short. So I do think coming to the end of September, we're going to see some real fireworks in silver, as in who in their right mind would sell any silver at this point in time. It's going to take much, much higher prices for anybody to open the coffers and say, okay, at $1,000 silver, I'll sell. That type of thing. So, hey, I got a super chat. Stephen McCoy, is Theta safe to leave in their wallet? Well, they have a couple different wallets. Yes, it is. I'd say to a point, as long as you create the wallet in the proper way, offline, you get your seed codes, things like that. Yes, I think the mobile wallet and the desktop wallet are great. The other way to store it, you can store it on a Trezor. I'd get it. I think it's safer on the Trezor, just another layer of safety. Or I think the other one is a Ledger. Trezor is pretty easy to use. So that's what and you can stake from there also. And if you hold Theta, you should be staking. If you have over 10,000, you should be staking. And it's easy to stake. You can go to Gpool and set up an account. You don't have, there's no KYC or anything like that. You're just using their Guardian Pool summary. So basically, they're doing all the mining, and you're just sitting back riding on their coattails. I know a lot of Rotorua people have gone on, because when I started recommending it, it went from about, I think, 18 or 19 million coins to 20. They're at 20 something now, 24, 25 million. And I think it's great. It's no risk. As long as you use the delegate form of staking, there's no risk, because all you got to do is unstake and the coins come right back into your wallet if you ever think there's a problem. So they can't grab the coins. Now, the other part of it that they call stake is if you have less than 10,000 mostly. That's when you have to send them your coins. I do trust these guys, but there are things that could happen, I think, that might disrupt the process. Like if the banks collapse and all of a sudden there's no communication, shit like that. Is that going to happen? I doubt it, but hey, it might. So that is my take on Theta. Clint Westwood in the house. What up, Clint? All right, let's see. Silver, $50 silver win. I don't know and I don't care. Here's why I don't know and I don't care. The price of silver has been rigged for over 150 years. Price suppressed. So nobody, $50 silver is a number that they decided to stop silver at in 1980, and they decided to stop silver at in 2011. It is not freely traded at $50. It never was freely traded at $50. It's not freely traded at $100. Nobody knows what a freely traded silver market, what that price would be at. Can you imagine all the people who use silver saying, shit, I can't get cheap silver anymore. I'm going to have to go and buy up the mining companies, buy up every ounce of silver I can get my hands on, melt down the silverware. All that shit is coming down the pike. So yeah, $50 silver. Although the technicals guys love it because it, the riggers stopped silver at 50 in 1980, and then J.P. Morgan brought silver up from 25 to 50 in 2011, and then they slammed it down with Bill Daley as the chief of staff for Barack Obama at that moment in time. That's all his job was. Bill Daley's job. He was the head of, Jamie Dimon called him the head of his SWAT team at JP Morgan. When there was a problem, you'd throw one of these guys. There's 4 or 5 guys. So there was a problem in silver, as Bart Chilton told my friend Chris Marcus. JP Morgan was massively offsides. They had to fix it. So they stuck a guy right next to the president to control. That's how big this is. The manipulation of silver was so big in 2011 and would have caused so much destruction with the crashing of Bear Stearns that JP Morgan had to put their number one fix-it guy as the right-hand man to the president of the United States for a whole year. During that year, they brought silver from $20 to $25 up to $50, got all the weak hands in, and then slammed it down, all done with computer programs. And then when it was back to $20, $25 at the end of the year, Bill Daley resigned as chief of staff for Obama, and then they walked on. Job well done, thus creating the artificial bear market in silver that we have today. So I don't think silver at $50 means squat diddly, other than in an unrigged market, silver at $50 doesn't mean anything. All the technical traders might jump on it, but technical traders don't decide the price of silver. Silver is decided by market manipulation. And when that ends, who in their right mind would sell any silver? And what does the price go if there's no sellers? So that's where we are. Very exciting, though. I think we'll see craziness throughout. I mean, there's only 8 trading days left in this COMEX contract before delivery starts. And September delivery might be big, I think it's going to be big, but it could also be what has been going on is that the big shorts don't want to deliver into this delivery month, so they're having to close out their shorts. That's why you get these sudden slam downs while they try to cover at a lower price, because they're losing millions, maybe even billions of dollars by closing out these shorts. But they have been told you're screwed otherwise. So there you go. All right, let's jump into questions. I see they're just flying by. It's craziness. We're taking questions all over the board. I have been talking a lot about the amount of gold on planet Earth. I've been talking about that for a long time, ever since I was a huge gold bug. There's massive amounts of gold on planet Earth, and you got to understand where it comes from. Most of it comes from our sun. Our sun is a gold-making manufacturing machine, and it spits out gold all the time with coronal mass ejections, and the filaments that come off the sun. Massive amounts of gold are spit out. And that's how we end up with gold on planet Earth. And yes, it's all part of the Grand Canyon. I'm knee deep into research. I'm way too deep into research right now. I need to pull my head out a little bit. But yeah, it's crazy. Silver My One, Bix, what's up with Ethereum gas prices? They've skyrocketed. Yeah, Ethereum has not solved their problem yet. The problem is that the whole world wants to use smart contracts, and Ethereum just hasn't been able to do it yet with the speed and the cost efficiency. So we're waiting on Ethereum 2.0. In the meantime, other people are catching up. A lot of people doing smart contracts yet. Still, especially our friends over at Theta will be releasing smart contracts by the end of the year. So, yeah. Oh, Louise Marie, thank you so much. Bix, your face looks brighter, shiny, like AG. The detox must suit you. Yes, I started the detox a couple days early. But, yes, the detox always works. Always. If you stick to it. Now, it's 21 days out of your life. What would you do for 21 days to feel better, to feel brighter? It also could be the haircut I got from Amy. She says, it's not right yet. It's not right. One hair is off out of place or something. But yeah, the detox feels great. And I feel great. Even though it's only a couple days in, I feel great doing it. All right. Super Chat, thank you. 420 PS. Hey, Bix, right now, GM.io says 4 to 10K per month. Sure, price levels are crucial, but for predictions as possible staking rewards, one would need a formula. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a hodler. I'm a long-term investor. I analyze what I'm going to invest in, and staking, yeah. You know, it so much of it is rigged on Binance. Like all of it, all of the crypto prices are rigged on Binance. I hate to tell you guys that, so none of the metrics should be even counted upon. Everything in cryptos is rigged. Everything. And you just got to remember that as you're placing your bets, because they can smash it to zero. They can put it to $1 million with a click of a mouse. Remember, Binance is controlled by the deep state. Deep state took over cryptos in the early days. Not all of them, but some of them. It'll be a dance to get cryptos out of their hands, but hey, that's a new fight for us, right? You know, we've been fighting the silver battles for I don't know how many years. Well, Ted Butler's been fighting the silver battle since the mid-'80s. And now here he is, 30 years later, 35 years later, Ted Butler's about to take a victory lap because of all his work he did with silver. Bravo, Ted Butler. We all owe it. If you own a piece of silver, you owe a debt of gratitude to Ted Butler and his work. Absolutely. And he's such a nice guy. I've always heard him speak a couple times, like live, and it's rare that he goes out. But yeah, I'm a big. I promote his website, butlerresearch.com. If you're anywhere want to know anything about silver, go check that one out and subscribe to it. It's amazing. Jason, thank you for the super chat. What's up from Saskatchewan? I've been there as well. Hope to meet up someday. Absolutely. We are when this road, when the whole craziness of COVID and all the new versions of COVID come out, we're gonna hit the road. We're gonna go traveling. We're gonna get an RV and we're going from town to town. I don't care who comes with us, but we're going. I do love the people who want to come with us, which is awesome. And everybody's going to be invited. We're going to go from town to town, singing songs, preaching about freedom and about what our real history is. Bitcoin Ben was touching on that the other day. What is our real history and why it's so important for them to hide it from us, which is really scary. And the more I dig into the spiritual side of this stuff and the woo-woo side, it's like, holy crap. So it's so obvious. If you go around all the civilizations that were here before us and advanced civilization, and oh my God, especially in the Grand Canyon. So lots to come, lots to come. Google user, thank you for the super chat. Any thoughts on Palladium? Yeah, it's rigged, but yeah, I don't know. Palladium and platinum, they're all right, but why go for all right when you've got a metal that has been suppressed in price for 150 years and is about to break free in silver? I mean, it's like almost everything. That's why I titled this thing Silver, Gold, Bitcoin. It's like everything pales in comparison to the end of manipulation of silver. We are here. We're about to experience that. And it is like the biggest beach ball on planet Earth, held at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean and is about to be let free. That's what's about to happen to silver. So I hear you on platinum and gold and cryptos and all that. None of them have been price suppressed as long and as hard as silver. And let that sink in, because I know a lot of people are like, I don't even care about gold anymore. I don't even care about Litecoin. I don't care about Tether. I don't care about anything, because I want to be in the right place with my money when that silver manipulation ends. That's one way to deal with it. I'm more of a hodler. I'll just sit there and hodl my Litecoin and hodl my. I don't have any Bitcoin anymore. I don't like what happened to Bitcoin. It got taken over by the Bitcoin crazies. They made money in Bitcoin and they want to hodl it. They don't want to make Bitcoin useful. It's literally almost unusable now, the cost and the speed. But that's fine. I think it's the greatest thing that ever happened to cryptocurrencies and that movement is the religious zealotry of the Bitcoin maximalists open everybody's eyes to, hey, cryptocurrency, blockchain can be used in all different kinds of ways. And so a lot of people just said, Bitcoin, you do what you want. They took over the programmers for the most part. And, Roger was 100% right. Yeah, he's obnoxious, but he was right. So what do you do? Yeah, I don't own any Bitcoin anymore. I think it'll go up to $100,000 in this next run, but I don't think it'll go up as much as many other cryptocurrencies, and definitely not up as much as silver. So right now, if I was advising someone, and I'm not a financial advisor, what to do with $100,000 that they just got out of their, they got fired from their job, so they got $100,000. I'd say set up a self-directed IRA with perpetual assets. Get that money into a form that you can buy physical assets in your own possession, and then buy silver. And then buy cryptos after silver's cut free. That's my plan. When silver's cut free from manipulation, I'm going to sell all my silver because it'll be fairly valued and I'll be running in to buy cryptos. Probably a hell of a lot of Theta. And then when I need to use cryptos as cash, I'll jump over to Litecoin. That's the plan. We'll see how it goes. So far, so good. Everything's lining up on the road to Rooter right now. All right, let's go. I know I've got like 50 million. Oh, give me a like and a thumbs up. How many do we have? Oh, crap. 950, 60 people. Hey, 950 people, and I only got 165 thumbs up. Come on, guys. Thank you. Okay, let's jump back in. Where we go on, we go. I'll do a Grand Canyon field trip. Could hit Sedona on the way. We actually, when Amy and I went to Sedona, we actually the Grand Canyon. We stopped back in Sedona, and we stayed like 3 days in Sedona. It's a magical spot. It's beautiful. Yeah, a lot of rich people have moved in there, but so what? So what? At least they support the police, right? But in Sedona is an amazing place, an amazing. You get this spiritual buzz just by coming into town. So yeah. Tom, thank you for the thumbs up. I asked for it, right? Let's see. Bill Karminski. Bix, the road to the root of theory is astonishing. Been following you a couple years. Yeah, it is. Truthfully, it is. And I don't know. I think I was guided towards it. I have no idea why I was on the Fed website on the exact day that they posted those comic books with the big red exclamation points. Obviously someone had guided me there. And there was a reason for all this. I guess I'm fulfilling what I'm supposed to do, which is cool. It's great, but it's tiring at times. I mean, imagine inventing the road to root theory and saying, "Oh, here's what's really happening." Back in when I found it in 2007, all my GATA friends hated me. What do you mean silver's more valuable? What do you mean gold is way too plentiful? It's all over around the earth. What do you mean Greenspan's a good guy? What are you talking about? And they hated me. And hey, everything important. It's not like I didn't walk them down the long road to root research and say, hey, here's what happened. Take a breath. Yes, there were good guys long before Q. Big Weir was talking about good guys at the Federal Reserve and within our government. So, full of hope. Thank you for the £2. Remember your videos from Green Tint. Time flies. Green Tint. Oh, the greenhouse. Yes, I know. That greenhouse is still there. Amy's been in charge of the greenhouse. It's looking really good right now. Who knows what's going on with this crazy weather, though. I know everybody around the world is getting crazy weather. I did talk to Cliff a couple days ago, and he said we've entered weather wars. So they're fucking with our weather, and then we're messing with their weather, and it's China, and every big country's in it. So, yeah. Here's my big prediction, and it's not that hard of a prediction. Come election day, there's going to be massive hurricanes on the East Coast, up and down the East Coast, probably earthquakes in California. There's my prediction. Psalms. I keep saying it wrong. Food shortage this fall? Yeah, I'd say absolutely. Now's the time to prepare yourself on every level. On the investment level, take assets into your own possession. Gold or silver and cryptos would be best. Silver is number one by far. Ridiculous. I think we're going 1-to-1 ratio sooner than I had originally imagined. Like within a couple of years, we'll hit 1-to-1 ratio silver to gold. That's just insane. Why? Because it's worth 1-to-1. Everything else is rigged. Think about the gold ratio. Gold-silver ratio has always been decided by the bankers. Always. Throughout history, the bankers have decided what the gold-silver ratio would be. At the beginning of America, well, we didn't have money, our own money in the beginning, but historically it had been like 16-to-1. 16-to-1 ratio because that's what they were pulling out of the ground. You get into the 1900s, you got the Federal Reserve, and then you got industrial applications consuming silver. One would think it would go the opposite direction, but no. It changed from 20-to-1 in the early 1900s, and then the confiscation of gold, and then the changing of the ratio manually to $35. They made gold worth $35 from $20. And everybody says, yeah, that just devalued the dollar, which it did. But what was the dollar? The dollar was defined as X amount of silver. About an ounce of silver. So it devalued silver. That's 35-to-1. And now what are we at? 75 to 1 gold silver ratio. And there's only one reason we're at 75 to 1 gold silver ratio. It's the invention of computer programs by Alan Greenspan in the 1960s to create our electronic financial system. Yes, he blamed himself for Y2K. And to create the market rigging programs that rig commodities so that we were able to go off a gold standard back in 1971. That's the only reason we have this ratio. And it's a stupid ratio. One day, not far from now, the gold-silver ratio will be determined by exchanges that are real. As in, you got money and you got metal, you go in, you swap them out, and you walk out of that exchange. No more high-frequency trading, no more bullshit. Real stuff for real metal. We're getting to the famous Nostradamus quote about gold and silver. Imitations of gold and silver will be tossed into the lake. I love that because we're going to live through that. What are imitations of gold and silver? Anything that is not gold and silver. COMEX contracts thrown into the lake. SLV thrown into the lake. Third-party storage thrown into the lake. Mining companies' shares thrown into the lake. Why? First of all, those shares have been rehypothecated. 2 or 3 people own the share that you own. Second of all, every country is going to nationalize their gold and silver. It's the wealth of their people, and especially foreign-held gold and silver mines. Imitations of gold and silver will be tossed into the lake. Nicholas, thank you for your super chat. Appreciate your work. Awesome. Thank you very much. It's a labor of love, and it's crazy these days because I'm locked up. Amy and I are locked up. Lockdown sucks after a while. I mean, we like each other well enough, but when you spend 24/7 with someone, thank God it's Amy. That's all I have to say, right, honey? All right, where are we? Gray matter. Litecoin and Bitcoin throw into the lake? No. Litecoin and Bitcoin are standalone assets. That was the number one thing when I was talking to Jim. Me and Cliff had a debate with Jim Sinclair and Bill Holter, and my number one take was, hey, they understand gold as a asset that there's no third-party risk. Everything else has third-party risks for the most part. Cryptos have no third-party risks. They're standalone assets. You don't have to rely on anybody. As long as you don't hold them in an exchange, you don't have to rely on anybody. Your Bitcoin will always be there. If there's an EMP and everything gets wiped out, when the computers turn back on again, your Bitcoin will still be there. It is amazing. It's an amazing invention. And it's going to take a long time for people to fully understand it. But those who did understand it and are starting to understand it are going to be the wealthy ones of the future because the bad guys, their system's going away. That's why I'm a big, big proponent of destroying the old system. And I'm not saying, hey, let's take everybody's wealth away. I'm saying let's let the market decide what has value and what doesn't and stop bailing out the banks and see what happens. We know all assets would implode. All assets that you don't control will implode. So, yeah. It's going to be an interesting rest of year zero. Year zero is a term that Cliff High had gotten from the military in the military chat rooms. They were all talking about year zero. This is like the deep web that Cliff delves in. And he said, yeah, 2020, they're calling year zero. This is before COVID was announced. He said all this stuff at the... he made a video for our Litecoin Summit in Vegas. That was September of last year. Everything he said is coming true, and it's going to get really scary from here on out. Cliff is the man, and he's laying low. He's working on his magnets. He's trying to invent a floating RV. I'll be first in line with my crypto payment or silver payment or whatever he wants, but a floating RV would be pretty damn cool. All right. Mandy Snowbird. Hey, Bix. Today, a major supermarket chain in Chicagoland told us they could not give us change for purchases and coins. Yes, let's talk about that briefly because there's all kinds of things A lot of the hard money guys are like, oh yeah, they're trying to go with a cashless society so they can track you with cryptos and all that stuff. Um, it could be part of the reason. The other part of the reason is, what is the money of the United States of America? Is it Federal Reserve notes? Federal Reserve notes are not part. They're not even money. They're IOUs from the Fed. But what is coin? Coins are made by the U.S. Mint. Coin is the money of the United States. Exactly. So if you have a banking collapse and everybody loses their Federal Reserve notes, well, people say, oh my God, I don't have any of these pieces of paper that say the Fed on it because they're a criminal, corrupt organization that printed way too much money. But I do have these things say the United States of America legal tender. I don't know. We will find out. But definitely something is brewing with that whole coin thing. It doesn't make any sense at all, but something's happening there. So, Carlos, thank you for the $11.11. Is that like some spiritual thing I'm supposed to understand? I hope not. Challenge Investor, thank you. Will Trump go back to hard money standard? He wants to. Trump wants to go to a gold standard. He knows we have billions and billions and billions of ounces of gold, and we've had it ready to give to the public to use as money. That's what the in 2007. That's what the Road to Ruta comics were all about. That's what Trump wants to do. Will we do it? I would guess we will, and then have cryptos continue its path alongside, and then there'll be kind of a merging of the two. Yes, I do think the Fed will make a Fed coin, and that's not a big deal. They have electronic money already. And everybody says, oh my God, Bix, the Fed coin will destroy cryptocurrencies. No, it won't. Why would you think that? They already have a Fed coin. It's called the U.S. electronic dollar. So what? Will the U.S. make it illegal to use any other currencies? I don't think so. I don't think maybe someone like Biden would be convinced of that by the bankers, but Trump wouldn't. No, I don't think. I think the future for the United States is freedom, freedom in currency, freedom in cryptocurrency, freedom in economics. No more regulators, all that stuff, decentralized. But that's my take. So I don't care. I mean, and obviously a cryptocurrency created by the Fed that is not open source, blockchain, immutable, all the good things about Bitcoin, could not even compete for a second with Bitcoin because it's not decentralized. It's the same thing the U.S. already has. So, yeah. Dave Larkins, hey, thank you for the 10 pounds. If you've got Theta and don't want to stake it on a node, is there a wallet where it can be stored? I've got a Trezor T and a BitFi. Yeah, Trezor supports Theta. It's a little weird when you do it because you go to the Theta wallet, the desktop wallet, and you can find that at thetatoken.org. You click on the wallet, and then on the top it says it'll say like, do you want to enter your private key? Do you want how do you want to access it? And then on the far right, it says, I think it says hardware. And then you click on Trezor, and it jumps you over to Trezor. You type in your code on your Trezor, and it jumps you back to the wallet. And then you can send or receive coins. But it's safer, yeah. So if I don't have it on in stake, and you can stake from Trezor too, by the way. So that's the safest. You'll put it on your Trezor and stake from there. But you don't have to stake. It takes right now about 51 hours to remove a stake. So just keep that in mind. If I'm going to trade my Theta, there's a lot that have already staked. I think it's around 500 million of the 1 billion coins. 800 and something are out there. Theta's holding the rest. But I think over half have been staked already, which means as more and more people understand, hey, I can hold the cryptocurrency and, by the way, make a little Theta fuel, which will be extremely valuable when companies like Netflix and YouTube are trying to get around these content CDNs, content delivery networks, that charge them massive amounts of money. They could just use Theta fuel. that's the economics of Theta Fuel will come into play. I've heard $1 by next year, which would be 100x, and then $6 by the year after. A couple of hedge funds came out with that, so we will see, right? You can get it for less than a penny right now. Sounds like a good deal to me. All right, let's see, where are we? Wow, there's so many different threads going on here. Let's see. Hey, check Michelle Whitedev's Patreon. She's watching Theta like a hawk. Michelle brought Theta to a lot of our consciousnesses when she first recommended it a year ago or so. And then we did our homework and said, oh my God, this is Internet 2.0. This is going to be gigantic at some point. So thank you, Michelle Whitedev. Amazing psychic. I'm telling you right now. All right. Let's see. Don says, how do I get Theta off my Ether wallet and into a hard wallet? Ooh, sounds like, well, it depends. It depends when it was created. If it was on the original blockchain. See, that's the thing. The Theta blockchain and the Ethereum blockchain are almost identical. They use the same language, and they're different. Don't get me wrong. So to get it off, you get your private. If you have your private key, you can go into the Theta wallet that's on thetatoken.org or IO, thetatoken.org, I think, or IO, one of those. And go into the wallet, and you can put your private key right in there, and all of a sudden, there you have access to your wallet. And then you can send it wherever you need to send it. I've been using Theta because we give away 50 Theta and 50 Theta Fuel to Road to Ruta members on the private road. So I've done a ton of transactions just making the paper wallets. And it is fast. I haven't had any transactions rejected, which is not, I can't say that about any crypto I've been giving away over the years. Road to Ruta, we've given away a hell of a lot of cryptos. But it might seem like nothing. No, you're giving away $20, $30 worth of Theta, big deal. Well, I was giving away $20, $30 worth of Bitcoin back in the day, and now it all of a sudden is a big deal. And that's the beauty of paper wallets, sending out paper wallets with subscriptions. And what it has done, I think, on the Road to Ruta is get people involved. Cryptos is not easy. First thing you need to do is educate yourself. And there's one place you can educate yourself that this is just unique to anything else. YouTube. YouTube search function was set up, literally. The crypto people knew early on, hey, we can train the world on this thing called YouTube. Use the search function, and you can find answers to almost everything. It's amazing. It's amazing. So, yes, I have brought, I don't know how many, countless thousands of people into cryptos, and most of them have stayed in. A lot of hodlers are starting to say, finally, it was a long hodl, this last one. But we know who did it, too. We know who crashed the Bitcoin run up into $20,000. Chris Giancarlo admitted it. He was the head of the CFTC. He said it was a decision made by Steve Mnuchin, Donald Trump, Chris Giancarlo, and a couple others. Was it Jerome Powell at the time? I think it was Jerome Powell, and then one other guy. So yes, there is nothing fairly traded about any markets on planet Earth right now. And the way to get out of that is to buy physical silver and watch the silver knights overrun the criminal cabal. Max Kaiser tried to do it a few years back, 10 years back or so. He's like, he had a meme going, buy silver, crush JP Morgan. Well, from post-analysis, it looked like he got about 10 million ounces bought by people. That's not how you crush JP Morgan, unfortunately. Yesterday they sold over 1 billion ounces on the COMEX. So 10 million doesn't mean much to the criminals. But having said that, we do have the DOJ on our side now, and I believe a verdict has been handed down to JP Morgan to say, end the manipulation now. And that's why all these banks are getting out of their short position. So if the banks aren't selling, who's going to sell? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think anybody obviously not at $30 silver. I wouldn't sell at $100 silver. I know how long this thing has been rigged. 150 years, going back, that's 170 years now, going back to the Opium Wars, where HSB was set up in China. And the reason HSB was set up is because all the silver was going from England to China to buy spices and silks and things like that. And the English bankers said, we can't have any of that. They go out and set up HSBC to create an opium trade. They get all of China addicted on opium and require them to pay silver for it, which is paid to those who controlled the opium, the poppy fields, which was the English bankers, which brought all the silver back to England. There you go, in a nutshell. And there's been all kinds of manipulations and an ongoing suppression by various groups. The Pilgrim Society is probably the biggest one over the last 150 years. Look it up, Pilgrim Society, silver manipulation. There's this guy, Charles Savoy, who's done a ton of work. I think David Morgan has a link to his work. You can find it. He's an odd dude, so be careful. Don't try to contact him. I'm just saying, I'm warning you now. But he did an amazing amount of work digging into the Pilgrim Society over the last 150 years, going through all these articles and finding places where they literally rigged the silver market. That's how important silver is right now to the freeing of humanity. Silver and the connection to our spiritual freedom is coming through just loud and strong. And they, even if they win the battle of September, they can't win the next battle or the next battle or the next battle. It's the silver knights that Jenny Moonstone has talked to me about coming through on their silver horses, literally, spiritually blowing these bastards over. It's wonderful. All right. Some very questions. All right. Jason, thank you for the super chat. Latest thoughts, info on Reggie and Very. Trump may come knocking on Reggie's door for tech help on revision of fedcoin. I don't see it Reggie getting involved with the fedcoin. It's tough. When you're trying to take out the bankers, they come after you with full barrels, and Reggie saw that, and they're criminal. The SEC is absolutely criminal. Then again, it is the solution. Reggie invented something to facilitate peer-to-peer transactions in these exchanges. So there is a side of the federal government that might come in and say, hey, it's either we destroy everything and try to rebuild the market from scratch, or we implement something that assures peer-to-peer transactions without high-frequency trading, without manipulation, without rehypothecation of shares, meaning multiple owners, and Veritasium could do that. That is what was in Cliff's data. I don't know if it will come true. So Veritasium is literally like a lottery ticket. If you own some Veri, you own lottery tickets. Because if it does get implemented, obviously it'll go from $3 to $3,000 in a blink of an eye. And Cliff's data had Veritasium overtaking Bitcoin. We'll see. I don't know. It's one of those. It's a long shot. You're fighting against these extremely powerful people who control all money and all exchanges. So, can we win that battle? I hope so. I could tell you how to take them down. Silver. Buy silver, hang on to it. And then the next time they come to Congress begging for a bailout, say no. That's all we got to do is say no. I think that's coming September, October timeframe. We will see. All right. Nick Wilson, what's your current thoughts on Litecoin these days? I love Litecoin. I wouldn't buy Litecoin over silver right now, but I will at some point in the silver freeing from manipulation, I will sell my silver and buy some Litecoin and buy more Theta nodes and things like that. So long term, I love Litecoin. Litecoin is the right coin as a means of exchange. When we go on to when the banks melt down and we need a new system, Litecoin will be there and is ready. When I talk to Charlie Lee, he's absolutely, Litecoin is ready and will be ready. That's the question, is when. I mean, my hope is Litecoin stays low under $100 until silver goes over, $1,000, $2,000, and I can sell a bunch of silver and go buy Litecoin. So yeah, I love Litecoin, but right now there's better investments. I think right now silver, obviously 150 years of price suppression, and I think Theta is completely unknown still, which is just shocking to me. But it's not that shocking. It's something that most crypto people don't think about. They just watch price and see how high it goes. They don't think about what does a token and a company and a methodology and a system that's being replaced. How big can it be? Theta replacing the internet is pretty damn big, if you ask me, or assisting in the internet. And I do have a guy on the inside, not really, kind of on the inside, who works for one of the big telecom companies. He's like, Theta is going to solve their 5G problem. There's a huge problem with 5G and its bandwidth, and Theta can solve that. On the backhaul, if those of you who know that world, it's the backhaul that has the big problem, and Theta will be there. And I think Theta also could have a very, 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 very prominent role in smart contracts when that gets rolled out, because it's faster, a hell of a lot faster than Ethereum right now, and Ethereum's got a lot of work to do. So we will see. And I hear through the grapevine a lot of the Ethereum programmers are going over to program on Theta because they use the same coding language. And Theta did that on purpose. They're no dummies. And that's why, Samsung's signed up, Google's signed up, everybody and their mother signed up for Theta. And it's still a tiny market cap. It should be in the top 5, if not the top 3. But it's number 45 or 50. So, hey, you heard it here first. Go get yourself some Theta. All right. Oh, yeah, Tom Assad, blockchain voting USPS. I think this is another Trump 5D chess move. Democrats are screaming, "You got to fund the post office. The post office is so important." And oh, by the way, they have a patent. I didn't even know the post office could patent things. A patent on a voting blockchain that just got discovered. Surprise, surprise. So the Democrats, careful what you ask for. If you want the post office to be in charge of everything because they're so great, like you're saying, I think it's a great idea. And by the way, if we do it on the blockchain, you can't lie, cheat, and steal. And watch the Democrats freak out and start to backpedal. And some Republicans too. I mean, the bad guys are not just Democrats. It's like 50-50. And all of them are compromised. I think every single person in government needs to leave. And we need to start fresh, including Trump. Everybody needs to leave, and we can start fresh. If Trump wants to run again for president, go for it. I'd vote for him, maybe. But after the shit falls down, we won't need him anymore. We'll need a different kind of president. Trump was put there to be the bull in the china shop, to end the criminal cabal. He's doing a great job, an amazing job. So we'll see what happens. All right. Let's see. Amy Weir says 12 more thumbs up to hit 500. Oh, yeah. Let's give me a thumbs up and we'll hit 500. 493. Come on. 496. We're going to throw a party. We all know how much I like a party. There it is. 506. All right. Israel Blessing. Great job. What's your take on both ponies? Call all-time high Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, 18th through the 20-something. David Morgan's statement, the real value of silver is 600 an ounce. Is that possible? Move so fast? Absolutely. It's a possible move. I'm not a fan of Bo, and I got nothing wrong with him other than he keeps saying he's right. And it's God being right. And he's like, he never admits when he's wrong. That's my only problem with Bo. Everything else, I agree. Yeah, silver should be $6,000, not $600. We don't know what the price of silver should be right now. We don't know what the price of gold should be. We don't know what the price of cryptos should be. Look at the volumes traded on these exchanges. It is insane. It just shows you just how corrupt these systems are. Yesterday, 1 billion ounces of silver traded on the COMEX in one day. 1 billion ounces. And it's all the same people trading back and forth with each other to rig the price. That's got to end. And that will only end with a crashing of the market or implementation of something like Veritasium. But that's the thing. Trump doesn't want to end the manipulation, clearly. No president, nobody in Congress wants to end the manipulation of the markets. Nobody wants to end the manipulation of the markets except me. Because I know that you cannot build a great nation on a foundation of fraud and deceit and market rigging. And I would love to have a great nation. I would love to give capitalism a shot. We've never known capitalism. Never. They always bail out the banks. A capitalist society would let the banks fail if they screwed up, and that's how you fix the problem. Failure is the greatest way to fix problems. Anyway. Michelle Burgett. I'm selling my silver today before the price goes down. Go for it, girl. Yeah. Good trade. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you when to sell. If you're waiting for me to tell you when to sell, I'm not going to tell you. Yeah, if you want to sell it, go for it. Go for it. Let's see here. Tyler L., is there anything out there that can possibly replace silver for technology? Absolutely. Most of it is not as good. Silver is the best conductor of electricity, most conductive, all kinds of things. So it's mostly a step down. And then there's synthetics. And at some point, they'll be able to create silver out of the molecules in silver. I think we're a good 50 years away from that. But we're going to have replicators at some point, too. And we won't need money at that time. So, yes, none of this stuff is forever. But I do think we've got a good 50 years of enjoying silver rises and our monetary system that we need before we go into space and replicators and all that. But all that could be stopped with the introduction of like alien technology comes in. We already know we got our semiconductors and all the stuff from the Roswell crash, and anybody who's read anything on that, you get that we're not alone in this world. And if you have night vision goggles, you look up in the sky at night and you see vehicles that can't be, at least not with the technology I know of on planet Earth, can't be ours. So alien technology probably needs silver, but they can mine it on other planets and on asteroids and probably create it out of thin air. But right now on planet Earth, we need silver, we need gold, we need cryptos. We need, in this battle that we're in, we need to work with the tools that we have. Now, if we think about it, and if you're strong enough spiritual beings that you can manifest things into reality, well, that's a different story too. But we're dealing with what we can right now. And that's why we came here. We're here to fight these battles. We're here to discover new things that are not known. In the spiritual world, pretty much everything already is known. Here, there's a lot of mysteries that are very fun to dive into and discover. Anyway, Stephen Glenn, thank you for the super chat. Based on the current M2 money supply, although the Fed does not release, or the Treasury does not release that anymore, the price of silver should be around $4,000 an ounce. Thanks, Bix, for all the great information. I would say a lot higher than that, because those are government statistics that they sometimes release and sometimes not. And now we know, well, I've known for a long time, but they print money and don't tell you about it. Catherine Austin Fitts has actually found a lot of it, 21 trillion. Professor Skidmore is looking at the bond market now and said there's over 100 trillion that is nobody knows where it came from. And I've said for a long time, what did Ruta write in the sand in the original comic book in 1981? Infinity. Print money to infinity. We are at infinity money. There is no restraints on money. It's a game, and we're in the matrix, and we're playing it. But all governments know this now. So Russia's printing money to infinity. China's printing money but they're all going to play the game because it benefits them to keep us under their control. So that's what we're fighting for. Freedom! Free at last, free at last. All right. Where are we? Robert Santamaro, silver $100 by the end of the year. $1,000 by the end of 2021. Yeah, if they keep it under control. If they don't keep it under control, you're going to see the COMEX just shut down. And then where would you get your price of silver? There is no other silver exchange on planet Earth. I don't know. It gets back to what Cliff said about $600 silver. He says, yeah, you're going to have $600 silver, but you're not going to want to live in a $600 silver world. This guy's brilliant. Love the man. I love him. All right. Source frequency. What does $10,000 Theta staked yield weekly, daily? You can go to thetamonitor.io, I think, guardianmonitor.io, and it all depends on what the price is of the rigged Theta and the rigged Theta fuel as far as what it's worth and the yield. So, and it changes, and they're both 100% rigged. I think Theta fuel is even rigged more than Theta. Just from judging from the volumes, when it gets hot, Theta fuel trade like on Binance 10 times the amount of Theta fuel that's ever been created. Will trade on Binance. It's rigged, so it doesn't matter. I mean, the yields on. I know that's how you analyze, whether it's worth staking, but they're both rigged. So what do you do? Zetetic News Network. Hope to have you on CNN soon to discuss money, aliens, including Theta. We're the first news outfit to stream 24/7 on Theta. Oh, sweet. Yes, I'm in. I turn down everybody these days on I'm just too busy, but I'd love to stream on Theta. Send me an email, bix@roadrunner.com, and we'll set something up. Yeah, I haven't gotten in. Theta is going to be uncensorable, all these great things coming out on Theta. That's why I'm so excited about it. I was talking to Jenny Moonstone the other day, and she's, we were talking about Theta, and she's, oh my God, you're going to look back and say, boy, were you lucky? Were you ever lucky to get into Theta? I'm like, yeah, but I did the homework. She goes, yeah, but you're still lucky. Yeah, I'm talking with Jenny again. If you guys are on the private road, those conversations are amazing. The gold conversations we're having now are just out of this world. That literally, on the spiritual side of gold and silver, we've won the battle. I mean, anybody worried that silver's not going to do well for the next 10 years? Don't worry. Silver will change your stars, literally, if you have it in the right form. And that's so important. The right form is the real metal in your hands. In your hands. I recommend Andy Scheckman at Miles Franklin. Send him an email. Andy@milesfranklin.com. MILESFRANKLIN.com. The reason it's so important now to understand who you're dealing with in silver is that it is times when silver runs crazy that people say, oh yeah, your silver is going to be here in a month, and then they end up closing and you lose your ass. A lot of these silver companies will go belly up. I've seen it before. It happens all the time. All the time. So just remember that. Do not deal with people you don't know. Your local guys, you got to make that relationship. You got to go in there and shake their hands and make 2 or 3 local silver stores know who you are. Because you can price off them, say, hey, Joe's getting me a bread price the dick down here. But also, they're going to help you when you're selling your silver. They'll be the buyers. And they're going to be local, so you're going to know who to trust. And if there's any problem with your silver, like you buy a crappy piece of silver that's not really silver, it's molybdenum. That's why I say keep it, like pre-65 coinage is the best. 1 ounce rounds. Try to measure and weigh all your silver if you can, because there's a lot of fakes. There's a lot of fake silver eagles out there. Weigh them. Weigh all your silver eagles. China's making them like they're going out of style. Just like they're making all the fireworks and explosive devices and sending them to the U.S. they are making massive amounts of fake silver eagles. So just be careful. And you can really, it's so easy to tell when you have two different eagles in here. But get a little tiny scale, like this big. You just stick each coin on it. If you have 1 million coins, you can hire, you're so rich you can hire someone to weigh all your coins. Gordon Shadon. Bix, I bought 1800 Theta in March 2018. They closed my account and stole me Theta. Do you have any idea what I can do? I don't know who you bought it from, but I have no idea what you're talking about. Theta doesn't sell Theta coins or anything, so it wasn't Theta. Are you sure you know what you're talking about here? You might have been scammed. There's so many scams in crypto. There's scams in gold, silver, crypto, everything, especially crypto. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I turn on my video, my own video, and I got a commercial of Vitalik Buterin saying, I'm going to give away 1,000 Bitcoin if you send me 100 Ethereum or some ridiculousness like that. And I've complained a couple of times to YouTube, and they do nothing. Why? Because they're the ones behind it, most likely. Yes, there's a lot of deep state in YouTube. YouTube was created by the deep state, by the way, in 1999, not 2006, like they tell you. Look up the YouTube patent. A guy named Mark Collins Rector. Slippery slope there. Yes, Amy, thank you. I will never ask you to send you crypto. There's fake accounts of me all over the place. Don't buy it. If you ever hear Bix asked me to give him my private key, no. But they look real too, and YouTube's not doing anything about it. So, hey, Crypto Nana in the house. What up, Gil fan? CNN Corrupt News Network. It used to be the Clinton News Network. Now it's the Corrupt News Network. I agree. JF3, you guys with Binance accounts are very fortunate. I'm jealous. Yeah, I know. Binance, the U.S. government is ridiculous. You can blame the U.S. government on it, but in the U.S., it's hard to buy Theta. Binance has Theta in their foreign, but they're not their domestic. And you can blame Binance. I mean, the U.S. government is not stopping Binance from adding Theta. I'll guarantee you that Binance will add Theta to their U.S. sales division as soon as Coinbase adds Theta, because they don't want. Right now, they got all the action. So Coinbase, Theta's on the Coinbase list. We all know what happened to like all the coins after they get on Coinbase go up 4,000 or 5,000%. It just happens. Well, it happened before. Litecoin went from $4 to like $400. How many percent is that? 1,000%. $4, 40, 10,000, something like that. Anyway, yes. But that's the key. The beautiful thing is when Coinbase starts to offer it, that means Binance US will start to offer it, Kraken will start to offer it, Gemini will start to offer it, and then you can pull it off those exchanges and start up a Guardian node of your own on your computer, or use the Gpool Guardian node, the delegate one. So yeah. All right, let's see where we are. It's getting hot in here. I don't have my fan on. Is CoinSwap legit? I've used it. Make sure you get on the right CoinSwap. I've used it and it worked fine. I wouldn't put huge amounts of money when you're doing stuff that you really aren't so sure of, because there's a lot of exchanges that'll say, "Oh yeah, I'll sell you Theta. Come to roadtoro.com. We have Theta in the vending machine." No, we don't. I don't have the right license to sell cryptocurrencies. People ask me all the time, "Will you buy me some Theta?" I can't. I would, but I can't. But it's coming. I mean, I would say by the end of September, Theta will be available on Coinbase, and as soon as that happens, it's going to open up all over the place. But who knows what the price will be then, right? $10, $50, or Michelle White Dove's $1,000 Theta. Who knows? Then I'll get my flying RV. Captain Ron Hayward, after you buy Theta tokens, you transfer them to your wallet. Absolutely. After you buy any cryptocurrency or any metal, you got to get it in your own possession. And if you don't know how to do that, you shouldn't be buying it. You should be going on to YouTube and doing searches for how do I secure my cryptocurrencies. It's a learning process. So do not leave them on any exchanges. Coinbase, Kraken, Binance, none of them. They're all hyper levered. We'll see. I don't know if they'll be around. If the banks crash, they won't be around. So we'll see what happens to the coins then. You just don't want to get into a bankruptcy situation like I am still with Mt. Gox. I had one Bitcoin in Mt. Gox back in the day. You know what they valued it at in the bankruptcy? $400, because that's the price it was at the time they went bankrupt. So, and then it paying people out with $400. And you want to know who did it? It happened the exact same time as Giancarlo, Trump, and those guys and Mnuchin slammed Bitcoin. Exact same time as when they started valuing it and selling off the Mt. Gox cryptos. That was the operation. It was all done on purpose. Paul Nedow, I have 2,200 Theta. Would like to trade it all for Bitcoin. At least there is one good thing for living in Canada. LOL. Yeah, I don't tell anybody when to sell or what to trade or anything. I tell you what I'm getting in and why. And yeah, if it works out for you, bravo. Never bet the farm on anything. But then again, don't get spread so wide that you don't know what you're investing in. I get that all the time. Oh, there's this great new crypto. Well, I'm fine. I've already done my research in these 30 cryptos. Why would I do more? But yeah, I might miss out on the unicorn. But so be it. All in PPT. Yeah, the banksters have destroyed a lot of the crypto companies that would threaten them. Salt is a great example. And Veritasium, PPT. It's just, I hear OMG's doing well. Now, I haven't sold hardly any of my stake from back then, and they're all worth like pennies now. So when OMG goes up like 50%, everybody's like, oh yeah, I go. What did it go from like 5 cents to 10 cents? I don't know. OMG is a good one. It was a great one back then. It's being implemented. So yes, I do have OMG. But if I'm buying right now, and I'll sum up this, if I'm buying right now, I'm buying silver and then Theta. And then when silver is released, I'm going to buy Litecoin, a couple more cryptos. When silver is released from manipulation and trades, I don't know, $1,000. Probably that's my first sale point at 1,000. But it depends. I'm looking for a gold silver ratio under 10 at least when I think it's going to 1-to-1. So, Crypto Nana, do you think Salt PPT Very will recover? I don't know. The banks don't want them to. The SEC doesn't want them to. They're all, other than Very, which the SEC really took down, Salt and PPT did what they said they were going to do. But the tokens are rigged and the price isn't going up. Who knows? I don't know. Veritasium is that lottery ticket. They were too valuable. It's one of those things. It's too valuable, so the SEC took them down. Criminal SEC took them down. I'm not selling. I'm hanging on to my Very because I think Cliff's data, if it's true that we will have a banking collapse and market collapse, people will understand that their shares have been rehypothecated, that their 401k is a fraud. Then I think something like Very coming in to save the day, peer-to-peer transactions would be extremely important. But until then, invest in silver, invest in something like Theta, a company that's being allowed to function and is needed. That's the cool thing. You're not fighting against the machine with Theta. You're fighting with the machine. The machine needs 5G. They need the Internet of Things. They need uh, self-driving cars. So by investing in Theta, those are the things that Theta will help accomplish. So it's nice to be on the same side as the riggers. All right, let's see. Captain Ron Hayward, thank you so much for the super chat. Why aren't you on Theta TV, Bix? Help the project. I just got off. Somebody just asked me to do that. Yes, I will get on there. I've been busy, obviously. I'm helping the project. Don't tell me I'm not helping the project. But yes, at some point, probably all my stuff will go on Theta TV, and I'll just run off there, which is great. Thank you, Chris Card. How did they take Reggie's 98 million vary? Reggie had possession of them, and they just went in and said, okay, you want to spend the rest of your life in jail, or are you going to hand over the 98 million vary? And he handed over the 98 million vary. Now, that vary hasn't been sold. It is sitting there in limbo, trying to figure out what to do. And there's a lot of wrangling going on behind the scenes is what I hear. And who knows? Who knows? Again, it's a lottery ticket. It's cheap. It's like $3. You can get a lottery ticket for $3 right now. But I don't know. I don't know what the deep state, and a lot will depend on who wins the battles at the Trump and deep state and the good guys, bad guys, the pedos, all that stuff. So many people want so many different things. So it's hard to implement anything when you're fighting the man. All right, I am starting to sweat here, so I'm going to get going. I just want to get on, talk about some of the stuff. There's just so much going on, and I just want everybody to take a breath. If you got silver, you're in the right place. Don't sweat a little. I mean, anytime it drops down now is an amazing buying opportunity. It's a gift. And I think they will continue to try to slam through September, because it's either they got to cover or they got to deliver real physical silver. So keep an eye on volatility. When it breaks over $30, it's going to get crazy, and then 50. Once 50 is blown away, who the hell knows where silver will go? But that's what we want. We want to understand the fair market value of a commodity that's one of the most important commodities, if not the most important commodity on planet Earth. Without silver, we could not live the way we live. So that's all I got for you. Love you guys. You take it easy. I'll talk to you later.